Hello, everybody. Welcome to Galaxy Brains, where the great red spot is not a centuries-old anticyclonic storm swirling on Jupiter, but a retired Mike Zimmer's face as he watches all of this season's missed field goals and terrible two-point conversion decisions, Denny. Denny, we're not here to talk about two-point conversions since that's all we talk about anymore.
That's right.
Football. We're here to talk about something far more important. That is ping pong tables in the Miami Dolphins locker room. What is going on in Miami, Denny?
Amid a flurry of quarterback injuries, the most important thing happening for the Dolphins right now is focusing on the task at hand at winning football games by removing the ping pong table from the locker room. Tyreek Hill and the rest of the team captains decided on Monday that they would remove the ping pong table from the locker room and focus on getting ready for Week 6. We got breaking news just before we recorded Galaxy Brains here. It says that Tyreek Hill and the captains decided to order a special Dolphins themed ping pong table to replace the previous one, which was, quote, not up to standards. I don't know how bad that table could have been, but apparently it was not a good one. Says it is past time, and that Tyreek Hill says it's past time and that it will not interfere with preparation. So we've gone from taking it out to focus to putting it back in because it will not disturb the focus of the Dolphins. I don't know what's going on. Pat, tell me what's going on here.
Well, I frankly think this was a highly necessary course correction from the Dolphins, where I don't think ping pong was the issue at all with the Dolphins' current losing streak. I think it's practice. And I think, frankly, they should stop practicing entirely and only play ping pong. Anyone who's ever played ping pong knows how good it is for your hand-eye coordination. Mm-hmm. It nourishes the competitive spirit. I once watched a friend kick off the corner of his ping pong table after I beat him in a game. And there's nothing, but I've broken several ping pong paddles in my life. You really want to be doing that. It's also much safer, of course, than practicing football.
Right.
And I think the Dolphins were on to something. And yeah, not just order one special table. They need multiple special tables. And this should be the only thing they do going forward.
But yeah, Mike McDaniel does need to replace traditional practice with actually just knocking around the ping pong ball. And maybe there will be fewer injuries. There will be, more camaraderie. I think he's on to something. I think by allowing the special table back into the locker room, I think they're on to something.
There'll be fewer injuries, but there will be far more fights. I don't know anyone who's listening has ever played ping pong, but
I have slammed my share of ping pong tables. I had one growing up, and let's just say that when the competitive juices get flowing, that the no table is safe, no paddle is safe.
I had a friend, this is a true story, by the way. I had a friend who, for some reason, did not swear. He never swore until he was like 14 or 15 until we started playing ping pong. And ever since then, he is a lifelong swearer. And he finally got right and started to swear. All it took was ping pong.
Thank God.
And so we talk about the Dolphins not playing football and only playing ping pong. The Philadelphia Eagles fill-in kicker seems to be taking the not playing or caring about football thing very literally, Denny. Cameron Dicker, he's filling in for Jake Elliott. He was asked a question about Nick Foles last Friday and seemed to not know who Nick Foles was. And he was in a Philadelphia Eagles locker room, and a player currently on the Eagles 53-man roster. It's not like they're asking about a player from like 1982.
No.
Nick Foles is still in the NFL. Cameron Dicker said, I honestly have not watched much football in my life. Again, this is an active NFL player.
Right.
He said, I'm a soccer fan. And so I really don't care too much. It was kind of like, yeah, he's there, and it's something you know about, but it wasn't anything that was big in my life. Is this a new approach to winning football games, just not knowing anything at all about the NFL?
The key is the key to success is not caring, and Cameron Dicker has mastered the art of not caring. This guy rolled out of bed. You could see, I mean, he's not in particularly great shape. I mean, no judgment, but I'm used to seeing guys in great shape on the field. He rolled out of bed. He nailed all his field goal kicks and his extra points last week against Arizona. Pat, he was the NFC Special Teams Player of the Week for Week 5. He just rolled out of bed and he said, I don't know anything about football. But if you're going to pay me to come kick for Jake Elliott, I'll do it. And I think that this is teams need to look for kickers who just don't really care. You know who cares too much? Matt Amendola cares way too much.
He cares way too much. He was practicing before the game, and look where that got him. Shanked the game winner against the Eagles. And I think we're talking about reversing trends. I just think this is another great trend where like kickers that like started to try too hard. Like they're like in shape now.
Yes.
Like some of them are like big. Some of them are jacked.
Right.
Like some of them
Joey Sly's in the weight room every day. His arms are bigger than anybody else on the field.
Some of them look like real football players. And now we have like 6 or 7 kicker injuries this year. So look where that got them.
Right.
Kickers need to look like accountants. They need to look like you and me.
Listen, right. Justin Tucker messed things up for the kicker position. Justin Tucker's in fantastic shape. And everybody said, "Oh, I have to do that. I have to look like Justin Tucker, who looks like a real football player." No. Enough of that. You need to look like Rodrigo Blankenship, who looks like he should be doing your taxes. Yeah.
And Rodrigo Blankenship, of course, still an active NFL player. And Rodrigo, he'll be finding a new team.
He was last seen at a high school kicking balls by himself.
So Rodrigo, just don't Google Rodrigo Blankenship.
Please don't.
If you're buying into argument. Denny, don't look up Pete Carroll's. I would deem his comments this week not safe for work about his quarterback situation.
And the folks were upset when we blurbed about this on Monday when I blurbed about this. But here's what Pete Carroll said about his quarterback situation, which seems to me, and I'm sure to you, Pat, to be pretty stable, considering Geno Smith is, a legit MVP candidate at this point in the season. He said of Geno, Pete Carroll said of Geno, he's doing everything we could ask of him right now. Okay. It's good too. And he's got Drew Lock nipping at his heels every day in practice. Every day in practice, Drew does stuff. He's got good stuff going right there in support of what Geno does. So we have Pete Carroll saying, "Hey folks, Geno's doing well, but let's not forget that we have a guy who can replace him at any moment." And I have to ask, Pat, when Pete Carroll says, "Is Drew Lock nipping at Geno's heels?" Or no, not is. He says he is. Does that literally mean that Drew Lock is on the turf trying to bite Geno Smith's feet? This is the only thing I can think of.
Drew is kind of a weird guy. I followed his career very closely. He's a Missouri native, a University of Missouri alum. He likes to prank. He likes to goof around.
Yeah.
So maybe he did that on the field one day. But something beyond nipping at the heels, which first caught my attention, something you said really caught my attention, where Pete Carroll said Drew Lock does stuff. And that was maybe the nicest thing I've ever heard anyone say about Drew Lock. He does stuff.
Stuff.
I mean, he's out there on the field.
He runs around and he throws the ball. And I've seen him do it. This is what Pete. Yeah, it's tremendous galaxy braining from our brother in galaxy braining, Pete Carroll.
It could be though too. Maybe Pete is finally getting with God here and realizing that they need to tank because Geno has played well, and look where that got him, 2-3. And if you really want to seal the deal, if you want to get a first-round pick, if you want to replace Russell Wilson, Drew Lock knows the guy. It's him.
Oh, my gosh, you're right. You're right. That's what this is set up for. Oh, rest in peace to everybody who picked up Geno on the waiver wire this week.
Rest in peace to everyone who expects Geno to keep playing well.
All right.
That's for another day. For today, Denny, is Bill Belichick saying this of David Njoku earlier this week. So we've talked a lot in the past about how Bill Belichick will never say anything nice ever about any of his players. And then, like, if you're on another team, like, you immediately get compared to a Hall of Famer.
Right.
And David Njoku this week, Bill Belichick said, after Ozzie Newsome, David Njoku is probably the best tight end the Cleveland Browns have ever had. And this is the same David Njoku who is 26 years old and has caught more than 36 passes one time, Denny.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, what does this say about the Browns? What does this say about the Browns tight ends who have come before David Njoku?
Well, first and foremost, this is a huge slap in the face to Gary Barnidge, the
Brown 82.
Yeah, and Austin Hooper. It's really Harrison Bryant, even, who's the current tight end too, and who might even be better than Njoku. But yeah, the 6th year breakout is happening. We some of us said it may be coming. Others were skeptical. It seems to be happening. And Bill Belichick has now watched the film and said, David Njoku, who was not even fantasy relevant before this year, even though we desperately wanted him to be, is now an all-time Browns great.
I just don't know. How do you feel if you're a Patriots player, if Bill Belichick gets up there and they say, hey, Bill, how's Mac Jones this week? Mac, he needs to brush his teeth. There's a piece of lettuce in his teeth earlier today. And then they ask him about David Njoku, like, this dude plays a better tight end than Ozzie Newsome, to be frank.
Right.
Ozzie Newsome's a Hall of Fame player, is a Hall of Fame executive. I think David Njoku will one day be GM of the New England Patriots.
That's right.
And, they asked him about Ramondre Stevenson, And like Ty Montgomery's practicing really well too.
Right.
And
Or Ramondre exists on this plane of existence. But back to Njoku, let me tell you something. When I see an all-time great, I know it, and that's who this is. Yeah, it really is. It came out of nowhere too. I don't think he was asked like, "What do you think about Njoku?" He just volunteered. He just volunteered that like, oh, he makes other Browns legends look like plumbers.
He makes Rob Gronkowski look like someone who's never played the game of football before. Yes. And speaking of planes of existence, Galaxy Brains is not on this one. For Denny Carter, I'm Patrick Daugherty. Thank you for expanding your minds, and we'll be back to expand them even larger next week.